So the last nakuda that he's saying is that the whole the divine mechanism and kavanah from the very outset of creation is chesed, which is gilui, which is Hashem's desire to reveal His presence to us. And he said even the tzimtzum is b'shvila gilui, and it's an active chesed, as was explained yesterday. Okay, now exploring that further. What do you say? V'hinei hasibah lebinyan hachesed. We did this? No. Hasibah lebinyan hachesed. So the cause of the emergence of chesed, chesed is the process, gilui, which sets in inyan agilui, in the words of the Maamar, which sets in motion the whole process of creation. So the sibah behind that, who ki chafetz chesed, who pasuk can tell him, he desires chesed. So the chafetz or the chafetz precedes the chesed. It's the cause of it, as conveyed by the pasuk. He desires chesed. The chafetz chesed to l'maylim chesed. So this is beyond chesed itself, in brackets, lo yirak mi chesed k'meishu b'midos, not only chesed as it's manifested in Atzilus, elagam as a midah, elamaylegam b'shoyshu k'meishu b'moichin, even higher than chesed is rooted in moichin, as intellect gives birth to chesed. So it's not that the chesed is born from a moichin-dike origin, from a rational moichin rationale. Rather, the root of it is something deeper. Kinyonehu chayfetz. The reason there is gilui is because behind all of that is the expression of Hashem's rotzen v'tainuk. Elo shachayfetz sheyeh chesed. What is his rotzen and tainuk? That there be chesed, there be gilui. What he's saying is that the rotzen and tainuk could be for something else or for nothing at all. But the rotzen and chayfetz is that there should be chesed, should be gilui, shtalshalus, creation, etc. So it's the tainuk, the Eibish's essential desire. So it's this desire, in other words, Hashem's desire that motivates the whole process of making gilui and the mekabel and everything else. So this chayfetz is the sibel binyan chesed shemen and even olam. That's the cause for the emergence of chesed from which the world is built. So having said that, the chosim alesh chus darge. So we said before that chosim means a lessened degree, a lower degree. So hupchin is chafetz chesed shelamaylim chesed. So the ultimate shadish of madrege of chosim is this level of chayfetz, which is higher than chesed. Yet implied in the word chosim is a descent. So where's the descent here? The answer is the session is eiri berotzen v'chayfetz sheyeh chesed. This itself, that Hashem had the desire, and the desire there should be gilui, and the whole binyan that follows. Hu yirida. This is the first yirida. Chus darge l'gabe yatzim said himself. Hashem has no desire; it's a choice. It's a yirida. He decided to have a desire, and having a desire means that he needs that desire to be fulfilled. Nisave. Once he needs. That's a yerida. As soon as we speak about a need. But that, of course, was a choice. That's a yerida from Atzmos that has no need. It's inexplicable why Atzmos, why the Eibush decide to have a need. It's as inexplicable as his very existence is inexplicable. But that's the reality. So chosin is the first, he's saying now, tracing about its ultimate source. The madrega of chosin, the maila chuz darge, which is a descent, is the chafetz, which the tainug, the articulated, chosen tainug, which is the source of the chesed of Gilui and the whole process of ishtalshelus that proceeds from there. And that's all the Yerida, the Gaba Atzmus. But that's where it all begins. There's all to answer the original question, why one of the original questions, the whole Aveda of a Yid, as the Zohar says, down here affecting above, it's 30 mitzvahs b'chlal. Why is it bound up with Chassan v'Kala dafka? It's all mitzvahs. The general answer was Chassan v'Kala. That's the general template of everything because it's the Eibishter in Yidden. And now the Prati is explaining that Chassan is that very first expression of the choice of Atzmos for a relationship with us. The Yashloimar, it adds in the brackets now, the Zema Shekosa Ba'Maimer. So he says that if you get up in the Maimer there of Tafrish Peites, upon which this Maimer is based, in the 11th chapter there, Shechosen hu iskashus. That Chosen is the union of iskashus and pashtas. The union of Chosen is Yesoid, really, and it's a manifested level. That's Zoh, its final level is Yesoid, and that's the connection with Malchus, who is the Mekabel, the feminine, the Kala. But the Rebbe is saying it means more than just the actual, the mechanics or the actual iskashus as it happens in Lepeil and Ishtalshalus and Lamata. But it starts really with the iskashus Lamaila, God's desire to connect to us. The Eibishter bonded himself and decided to have a relationship and create. The Ashleima, again, this is the Rebbe's Chidushim, his nuanced Chidushim. This, the Eibishter bonds himself to create. This is verily the same thing as Inyan Aratz and Vachefetz. That is the choice of Atzmos. So the choice of Atzmos is expressed in this primary level called Chassan, which means Yiskashus. And it manifests itself in Yiskashus, in bonding, and in the Dira Lamata, and in becoming one with us. So this was all to answer further one of the questions earlier on. How do we say Asher Bara Sasem Simcha Chassan V'Kala? Bria, we just said that Chassan V'Kala, you trace back to Madreis Lifnei Atzimtzum. So how do you apply the word Bria? So now this we're getting now deeper and deeper answer. We'll understand also why at this level of Chassan, we've now explained, is the Chafetz Chesed. The term Bria is applied, which is way down the line. And it would seem, worlds removed. Not seem, it is worlds removed. Atzilus and Ein Sof and Eilim Ein Sof and countless levels. But nonetheless, the word Bria is right there because what is it all about? At the primary level, it's about creation and Iskash is a connection to us. And likewise, the B'Shem Keil Nem B'Lashon Yitzira, quoting from Sefer Shmuel. The Shem Keil, which we said is Chesed, Lifnei Tzimtzum, nonetheless, Lefanai LeNoitzar Keil. Noitzar and Keil are associated. That's the Madrege. Answer. Now we appreciate deeper why this is so. Chafetz Chesed, this level, this first choice of Atzmos. She'ein ela chafetz v'rotzen sheyeh chesed. It's the desire that there should be chesed. It's beyond all description and all form. This is the choice of Atzmos. So we can't apply the word tzir there. We can only use the word bria because tzir implies an actual form there. There's not going to form the choice of Atzmos. But bara chasam v'kala, because the desire to be a bria is there. But once you have already a manifested gilui, the process has begun. Shem kel b'chesed. So there you can say the word yitzir. Gam k'meishul lifnei atzimtzum, take lifnei atzimtzum. But mekivan tzir shal chesed, since there's already an articulated notion, gilui revelation, and with all that implies otherness and so on. So there, shaykh b'lashon yitzir, we can talk about yitzir, which means a form or a structure, because then already the process of creation has begun and the notion of form belongs. Whereas at the level of chassan, which is the articulated Chavetz Chesed, there's no form there. But there is Bria. What kind of Bria, we don't know yet. It's going to emerge later. It's going to be a Chesed. Now we have a Tzir already. Mashpia, Makabah, we've got already a system. The word Chesed implies some kind of system. But at the level of Chassan, Lamaila, which is the articulated desire, he wants a relationship with what is not articulated yet then. What? How? Just that there is a time. It's the pure tainig of his kashas with Oilimus. How will Oilimus look? What will Oilimus be? What will the nature of that kashas be? Not articulated yet. Till Chesed. There's going to be Gilui, and there's going to be Helam, there's going to be recipients at upper and lower, and then the whole Tzir begins. Tzir means there's already a definition to an articulation to what this desire is. But at the level of Chavetz Chesed, there's no articulation of Tzir other than creation, completely left open there for the viewer. That Kavanah Atzmas already knows what, obviously. But in the process of revealing it, and by divine design, it's a ladder of divinity he wants to create. So at the very uppermost level, it is beyond articulation, beyond Tzir, just the notion of otherness, which is completely nebulous, or Bria, yes, but not Yitzir, not Tzir. Tzir means already a form. We're kind of clear.
Yeah, just the parts from reading the Rabbi, the way that we read it. It's not Asher Bara, something that's a Kosmikala. Not that they should create it, Kosmikala. It's that the whole unit of Bria is a consequence of Kosmikala, of Chasar, of Kusdar, of Chesed.
But at the Pshat level, no.
Not at the Pshat level. At the Pshat level, it's Asher Bara, Kosmikala. He created Kosmikala.
And he's not departing from the Pshat level. He's explaining it. That's true, even with Pnimis and Yonim. Even the Pnimis and Yonim, since the Madrege of Chosen is or the articulated level of Nisave, and he wants his kashas to Ilamis, the whole point of this, there should be a Bria, so it's Shayach to say the word Bria there, because the notion of Bria is expressed already there, even though the actual Bria comes later, but it's already laid out there. Yitzira doesn't apply there, because what is that Bria going to look like? It's not expressed there. So, but by Chesed, yes. The Fanele Noitzar Keil, because Chesed is already saying there's going to be Mashpia and a Makabel. That's what Gilui. To whom? To something that doesn't have the Gilui. We'll get the Gilui. It's all implied in the notion of Gilui. But the level of Oilimus, I want a creation. What? It's beyond Tzir. But Bria, yes. So since it's articulated there in terms of the Kavana, the word Bria is applicable in that sense, even though there's no actual Bria yet. Further elaboration now. Yeah? We're going now, Isvav. You have different... Go ahead.
In terms of flow,
Yeah.
Fits. Chassan is Chavetz Chesed, and that's the Indian of Bria. It's not the island of Bria.
There's no Gilui yet.
And
Then comes the emergence.
Of Ein Sof
That's
is the
first.
Indian of Yitzira, and that's the finding.
That's the first level of Chesed, Gilui, and that's already Yitzira because of form. We're already getting a form here of higher and lower of Gilui. Huh? It's still the Indian of Yitzira. It's like in the play. It's like in the I'll tell you a simple, grub example. In the drawing room, in the cabinet room, the plan is there, the articulation is there. So at the very first stage is, a very crude example. I want to have a business. Could be anything. Next stage is an articulation of what kind of business, some kind of retail, selling, whatever it is.
It's all in safe. The levels we're talking about.
It's still, if that's him, it's all Hashem's desire. It's all in his articulating his desire. What does he want? In the articulation already, since he wants it, it's present. So the words Bria apply already at the first level, Yitzira at the second level of the process, which is the Gilui already. Somewhat clear? Yeah. So let's continue with the further insight. He's going to answer the question why. I don't think he's going to answer yet now why Chas v'Kala comes after Sasim v'Simcha. That's coming later, I think, if at all. Stam will answer it. But now we're still continuing and wrapping up, deepening why the Lashon Bara applies. Shekoi gam al b'yis Chas v'Kala shalamayla, that the term Bria applies even to the level of Chas v'Kala lamayla, as we explained it now, at the highest possible level, period. Chasan being the first level, the articulation, expression of the Eibishter's desire. Shemehem, from these lofty levels above, and the successive levels, Mishtal Shalim Chasan v'Kala Shalamata. So it's a statement. So this is why the term Bria can apply to Chasan v'Kala at its loftiest level, from which it then manifests down here as well. So possession, Ikrai b'Shem Chasan v'Kala. So this that they called Chasan v'Kala, the Shema Yeshikli b'Lashon HaKodesh, the name that in Lashon HaKodesh for anything. Moed al Toichan Ishal Adavar conveys the content of it, right? Mahava Machaya u'Makayim is Adavar. 3 words here. The Hebrew name, the Lashon HaKodesh, they can name the letters are all Giluyim, and they are responsible for Mahava, which means bring it into existence, Yesh Ma'ayin. Machaya, emanating it, or Makayim, and sustaining it. There's 3 components of every existence. Without going to the pratim of all of this, explained in the Shah Yichud. At any rate, so the Lashon Kodesh Dikan name is responsible for the whole existence, identity, and of that which it is named of for. As the Bashem Tev Brahma teaching the Bashem Tev, who, so Chosen Kala called Chosen Kala. Ki Chosen Melashon Chus Darge Commission is Berliel. Chosen means a descent, a lessened level. The Kal, the Melashon, we said before, Commission is Berliel. This we explained already. Now is Kala. The Kal, the Melashon Kiloyen. So there's 2 meaning of the word Kala. Kiloyen, which means to become absorbed, literally consumed, 1. And a second expression, the related, Miloshen kol son nafshi, my soul desires or longs. And the difference is that kiloid is already having arrived. And kolsa is the process of desire. Shem shtei b'chinas b'kala, these are 2 levels in kala, as explained in Likutei Torah. So, these are the names. So the names have meanings. Chasen means descent, and Kala means kiloyen, and Kol Sanavshi. So how is this reflected? So the intent for this whole manifestation of these levels above, that this should manifest itself in Chasen v'Kala down here. Like I said before, and explain the pasuk, Amarti Chesed, Amarti Olam Chesed Yibane. I said the world should be created on kindness as Hashem. We explained, why did Hashem give rise to Chesed? In order the world should be created. Wrapping up this idea. Through Yidden down here, and especially they bring joy, zeroing into the mitzvah of chasana. Kipshutam lamatam, the literal level down here. So they affect down here, up there and down here. Okay, we're going to read till the end of this. See if he does not spell out for us. I mean, it seems he was going that way, just stating a series of facts. The union of the Chosen, Ches Darga, and the Kala, Kiloyen, and Kolsa Nafshi. He doesn't spell out for us what it means in Avodah for us down here. It leaves it for us, but that's the Avodah. Now, we have to bear in mind that we are all the Kala, we're all the Eibishter's Kala. But he's saying that the chas and kala lamata have to have these properties as well. So it leaves it for us that the chas and his inyan is to descend to the world of the kala. And the kala's avodah is desire for the chassan. Become absorbed within one, and that's the kiloyan and the kol sanafshi, which he has to be ma'ira. This is left open. It's also, this is also explaining to this. There's the two inyanim that we have to do in general avodah. Like that, we'll talk about this on Sunday morning, Shammai and Hillel. There's two aspects to avodah, the chassan component of our avodah, and then the kala component. What the chassan component of avodah is if the mamshech alikus lamata. That's suffused creation with alikus. The kala component is if the pale bittul in the matter, the surrender of the matter. So there's both components in avodah Hashem. L'mayla lamata, lamata l'mayla. It's Hillel, it's Shammai, it's Shabbos and weekday. Yet each year has these inyanim of chas and kala lamata within him as well. There's many manifestations. This doesn't spell it out. But he's saying avodah lamata is all rooted in the ultimate source l'mayla and affects the mayla and is mamshich l'mayla. Let's continue the basis of the ice. Through the avodah we say that we're bringing joy to chas and v'kala. So we say to them, rejoice, loving friends, like the one who formed you, brought gladness to you, rejoiced you, brought you simcha in Gan Eden Mikedem. What's the diak Mikedem? Simply is Mikedem, means in the east. But Kedem, Kedem Achet, before the Chet. Through the avodah of chas and v'kala, we bring the world, which is Yidden B'chlal, we bring the world to a state to go back prior to the Chet. Then the world was completed whole and complete. As the pasuk says, the pasuk summarizes the whole creation and says these are the chronicles of heaven and earth. Be bottom and Hashem created them. So the Medrash notes that there's only two places in all of Torah where the word Tildes is spelled mole full with a vav. It's here, and there the Tildes Peretz, the descendants of Peretz, David and Mashiach. So we're going to bring the world, so then the world was whole. So the avodah of chas and v'kala, Yidden Lamata, is kesamechecha yitziricha b'ganeit and mikedem, is to bring the world to its wholesome state. But more than that, you say to Mizor, the kivin shakavana b'yad yiddadoilam, since the whole point of the descent that happened to the world. So it's all for an aliyah, so it's not to go back to the Eden state, mikedem, but even higher. Obviously, we're understood that we're bringing the world to a deeper level, a higher level than before the Chet. Therefore, through the after the Chet, there'll be even a greater elevation, even more than it was at the outset, and that's the Elatildis Peret. These are the offspring of Peretz, the son of Yehuda, and it goes all the way to David. Tildis Mole there too. This is in Sefer Rus at the end. There too, the word Tildis is the only other time that it's written with a vav, full. Actually, the Medrash, if I'm not mistaken, says that after the Chet, 6 things, literally 6 things were, that's the Vav, diminished. I don't recall what they were, but 6 things in creation in terms of man. So these are all restored. But the Rebbe is saying it's not going back to square one. But tell this molish, this completion, that's much greater wholesomeness and completion at the outset. And this will come with Bias HaMashiach, as it concludes the Batoldis Peretz in the genealogy of Peretz's descendants. There's David. It ends with the final one, David the Melech, and who's David, of course, the forerunner, David Malka Mashiach. To be continued, Be'ez Hashem, included tomorrow. Interesting, man. The Maim is not. It's very bekitzer. Very bekitzer and all embracing.